Hello and very warm welcome to the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets journalists from across the country at the BJP's Diwali Milan program, calls for a debate on internal democracy in political parties. Passports for adopted children to need clearance from the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Government modifies rules after the death of adopted 3-year-old Sharon Matthews in the United States. Pakistan opposes the supply of armed drones by US to India, warns that it could increase chances of military misadventures and increase conflict in the region. And a day after the Catalan parliament votes to declare independence, Spain seizes direct control of Catalonia, strips the state of its autonomy after dissolving its parliament and dismissing its president. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday met top journalists from across the country at party headquarters in New Delhi. Addressing journalists at BJP's Diwali Milan program, Modi called for a debate on the importance of internal democracy in political parties. BJP President Amit Shah, along with senior party leaders, was present at the event.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday addressed media persons at the BJP's annual Diwali Milan program at the party headquarters in New Delhi. Starting his speech on a nostalgic note, the Prime Minister recalled the days when he used to regularly interact with media persons while working at the BJP headquarters.
यहाँ पर आप सबसे मिलने का अवसर आता है, तो पुराने दिनों की याद आना बड़ा स्वाभाविक है। तब कोई बंधन नहीं थे, कोई कठिनाइयां नहीं थी, और वो भी दिन था जब हमें आप लोगों को खोजना पड़ता था।
Highlighting the media's positive role in democracy, the Prime Minister also underscored the importance of democracy in politics, stating that political parties must discuss democracy. He also thanked the media for supporting the centre's Swachh Bharat cleanliness drive.
हमारे देश में पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज में डेमोक्रेसी, राजनीतिक दलों की संगठन रचनाएं, निर्णय प्रक्रियाएं, इससे अभी देश उतना परिचित नहीं है। आप जैसे मित्र अध्ययन करके दल की रचना क्या है, दल का नेतृत्व कैसे पनपता है, नई पीढ़ी के लिए लोगों को कैसे अवसर दिए जाते हैं, डेमोक्रेटिक वैल्यूज को उनके कोर वैल्यूज का हिस्सा है कि नहीं है, ये कभी न कभी हमारे देश में डिबेट का इश्यू बनना चाहिए।
Earlier, BJP President Amit Shah extended Diwali greetings to the people present in the gathering. Addressing media persons, he said India faced many challenges over the past 1 year, but had weathered them.
दीपावली से दीपावली का एक साल देखें तो एक साल के अंदर भारत ने हर मोर्चे पर जो भी चुनौतियां आई, वो चुनौतियों का डट कर सामना किया है।
Senior BJP leaders including GVL Narasimha Rao, Sambit Patra and Smriti Irani were also present at the event. Now Vikram Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, on a 2-day visit to India, French Defence Minister Florence Parly met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi today. Parly briefed the Prime Minister about the developments in bilateral defence cooperation, stating that defence cooperation is a key pillar of the Indo-France strategic partnership. The Prime Minister called for greater cooperation in the Make in India framework in defence manufacturing and joint research and development. The two leaders also discussed regional and global issues of mutual interest. On Friday, Parly held talks with Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on many issues. The two leaders discussed regional security situation and ways to ramp up overall strategic ties. Parly's visit is aimed at laying the ground for French President Emmanuel Macron's upcoming trip to India. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today met Tunisian Foreign Minister Kemais Jenawi, who is on a 4-day visit to India. The minister is co-chairing the 12th Indo-Tunisia Joint Commission meeting along with External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. The JCM will enable both nations to undertake a comprehensive review of bilateral cooperation in political, economic and cultural areas. Both countries will also sign agreements and MOUs. Besides official meetings, Jinawi will also address the business sessions to be organized by the Apex Chambers of Commerce and Industry. President Nath today emphasized the need to speed up the judicial process by giving quick justice to the common man. Inaugurating the Diamond Jubilee function of the Kerala High Court at Kochi, he said certified copies of the verdict should be made available in local languages for the common public. The President also underscored the need to bring digital technology in the judicial delivery system. He further said the Indian justice system is miles ahead of others in judicial delivery. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court Deepak Mishra also spoke on the occasion. Kovind was on a two-day visit to Kerala.
High Court of Kerala. Delay in justice delivery is a pressing concern in our country. Often those who suffer are among the poorest and most underprivileged in our society. We must find mechanisms to ensure quick disposal of cases. We could all consider an approach that makes adjournments the exception in an emergency situation rather than a tactic to prolong court proceedings.
External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj sought a probe into the adoption procedure of a 3-year-old Indian girl who was found dead in the United States earlier this week. Sharon Matthews, who was called Saraswati before she was adopted by an NRI couple from the US, went missing on October 7th. Her body was discovered after over 2 weeks of police searches in Texas. In a series of tweets, Sushma Swaraj said she requested Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi to investigate the adoption procedure that was followed while giving away baby Saraswati in July last year. Sharon's adoptee father, Wesley Matthews, was arrested and charged for injuring the child. After the case, the government modified passport rules for adopted children. The External Affairs Minister said these passports will be issued only with prior clearance by Ministry of Women and Child Development.
ये शरीन मैथ्यू का जब मामला हुआ था तो अगले दिन ही मैंने उन लोगों को बुलाया जो ऑर्फनेज से वो गई है और सारा लोगों को बुलाया जो सारा जिसको हम बोलते हैं वो है कि हर स्टेट में जो संभालते हैं अडॉप्शन और इसका जो होम स्टडी है हम पूरा बदल रहे हैं इसी केस के आधार लेकर के.
Well, here's a roundup of some other news from across the country and nationwide. The National Green Tribunal's Eastern Bench today ordered the demolition of a building constructed by the Art of Living Foundation in Kolkata's wetlands. The organization, run by spiritual guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar's organization, is facing allegations of flouting environmental norms. Hours after Congress President Sonia Gandhi was hospitalized in New Delhi, her son Rahul Gandhi took to Twitter to assure supporters that she was recovering. The Congress President was rushed to a hospital with an upset stomach from Shimla. A day after Hadia's video plea asking to save her life emerged, Kerala's State Women Commission directed the Kottayam Superintendent of Police to conduct an inquiry on the 25-year-old's current condition. The Supreme Court had ordered a probe by the National Investigation Agency to find out if there is a pattern of love jihad in the case. It had also questioned as to how a High Court could annul a marriage between two consenting adults. Agartala became the fourth city in the northeast to be linked by the Rajdhani Express to New Delhi. The Tripura Rajdhani Express will start from November 6th and will run once a week on Mondays from Agartala. On Wednesdays, it will start from Anand Vihar in New Delhi. Each trip will take around 41 hours, covering 2,413 kilometers and 16 stations in Tripura, Assam, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. The doctor who had attested the left thumb impression of former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha on documents relating to a bypoll last year appeared before the Madras High Court. Dr. Balaji, who gave evidence for more than 2 hours, has been asked to appear again at a later hearing. Well, moving on, now Pakistan has opposed the supply of armed drones by the US to India. Opposing the move, Pakistan warned that it could increase the chances of military misadventure leading to a conflict in the region. The remarks were made by the Pak Foreign Office spokesman Nafiz Zakaria. He said, and I quote, "Use of armed drones can lower the threshold for conflict since it can encourage military misadventure, especially in the backdrop of irresponsible discourse about limited military operations below the strategic threshold," unquote. Further clarifying his country's stand, Zakaria said that Pakistan has consistently maintained that preserving regional stability should be the fundamental consideration in any international arms transfer. He also demanded that any transfer of armed drones should be closely examined in the context of the guidelines of the multilateral export control regimes, which place certain limitations on such transfers. On the issue of Indo-US bilateral ties, Zakaria said Pakistan was not against any bilateral relationship, but it should not be based on agenda of containing China or threatening Pakistan. Well, just days after asking Pakistan to do more on terror, the US says it's now waiting to see the practical steps Pakistan takes over the next weeks and months in its war against terrorism. The acting Assistant Secretary for South and Central Asian Affairs, Alice G. Wells, made it clear that it would be all about Pakistan's strategic choice. Speaking to journalists, she said, and I quote, "This is about Pakistan's sovereign choice. This is not about America giving dictation. We've described our strategy. We've described a very important role for Pakistan, who we see as a very important country in the region. But it's up to them whether or not they want to work with us on this strategy. And if they don't, we'll adjust accordingly." Well, during his just concluded visit to Pakistan, US Secretary of State Rex Tillerson had stressed the importance of Pakistan moving quickly to demonstrate good faith, even though the US refuses to give an explicit timeline for this. It said it was working on its own strategy in the meantime. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Malnutrition causes a massive brain developmental disorder. That's a big challenge of this country. India, we have a couple of challenges for the brain disorders. And India also, we are planning to start some point a very big program in neuroscience or brain research.
Okay.
And Department of Biotechnology is very interested, enthusiastic about that. Cyclin. It's a 4th generation tetracycline. We have showed in the animal model, it's a very useful for Japanese encephalitis virus.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Anirban Basu, Senior Scientist, National Brain Research Center, Manesar, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates a message of wisdom.
The story we thought we knew. The story of magnificence. The story of bloody battles. Of those who ruled and those who left their footprints. The story charting the course of our past. Talking History on Rajya Sabha TV.
Harappan sites are a treasure trove of sophisticated pottery. These creations show tremendous advances by the potter's wheel. Creations like the perforated jar, the copper axe, the chisel and knives astound even present-day archaeologists. Figurines depicting yoga poses, chess pieces display a complexity unsurpassed even by later-day civilizations, all of which make the Harappan civilization truly unique.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Spain today took charge of Catalonia a day after the Catalan President Carles Puigdemont declared independence. Here are the details.
The Spanish government moved to seize direct control of Catalonia early on Saturday, stripping the state fighting for independence of its autonomy. The move comes a day after the Catalan parliament voted to declare independence. In response, Spanish Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy dismissed Catalonia's president and the cabinet and dissolved its parliament after the Spanish Senate granted him powers to impose direct rule on Catalonia. Rajoy also called for fresh regional elections on December 21st.
Informo que hoy he disuelto el Parlamento de Cataluña y que el próximo 21 de diciembre se celebrarán elecciones autonómicas en esa comunidad autónoma.
The Spanish government also dismissed Catalan leaders and handed control to Spain's deputy prime minister.
El presidente de la Generalitat dejará de serlo cuando se publique ese acuerdo. No tendrá la firma como presidente de la Generalitat. No podrá adoptar decisiones válidas ni obligatorias para terceros ni para su propio gobierno como consecuencia de ese cese y no podrá ejercer sus funciones. Dejará de cobrar como presidente de la Generalitat.
Tightening its grip on Catalonia, Spain's Interior Ministry took charge of Catalonia's police after dismissing Catalan Police Chief Josep Luis Trapero on Saturday. On Friday, Catalonian President Carles Puigdemont declared independence as Catalan MPs voted 70-10 in their regional parliament in favour of independence.
El Parlament del nostre país, un Parlament legítim, un Parlament sorgit de les eleccions del 27 de setembre, ha fet un pas llargament esperat i llargament lluitat.
People in Madrid are also supporting the Spanish government's move to take control of Catalonia. But wary of the crisis, Barcelona residents refused to accept Rajoy as their leader.
Traspasado las barreras de la legalidad más absoluta y el Estado de Derecho los pondrá en su sitio inmediatamente. De hecho, ya se ha iniciado la marcha y ya está todo en condiciones.
Me preocupa mucho que el señor Rajoy sea de España, con lo cual que pretenda ser el presidente de Cataluña. La verdad es que no le veo ningún sentido, porque para empezar creo que este señor probablemente ni siquiera habla catalán.
The EU, the US, the UK, Germany and France have all expressed support for Spanish unity. Governments of Colombia and Mexico also called for unity and calm in Spain.
El gobierno colombiano ha estado siempre acompañando al gobierno de España, respaldando la posición del gobierno de España. Queremos una España unida. Eso es lo que a España le conviene y al mundo le conviene.
México no habrá de reconocer una declaración unilateral
This is the first time that Madrid has curtailed the autonomy in the region since dictator Francisco Franco's repressive 1939 to 1975 rule. Independence supporters warn that they will resist the temporary measure by Spanish government under Article 155 to take control of Catalonia. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a roundup of the other news from around the world in Global Buzz. Cook County officials have said that former President Barack Obama will serve on jury duty in November. Chief Judge Timothy Evans said Obama was called for jury duty at a public county meeting. Obama will possibly be the highest profile person to appear for jury duty in Cook County. Other celebrities included talk show host Oprah Winfrey and actor and retired wrestler Mr. T. Under pressure on Russian election interference, Facebook is moving to increase transparency for everyone who sees and buys political advertising on its site. Company executives said that they will verify political ad buyers in federal elections. The site will create a new graphics where users can click on ads and find out more about who's behind them, and will start testing the feature in Canada. China reiterated opposition to any unilateral sanctions outside the framework of the United Nations Security Council. On Thursday, the United States imposed sanctions on 7 individuals and 3 entities of North Korea for alleged human rights abuses. Speaking at a regular press briefing, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesman said China opposes the sanctions. US Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said that the threat of nuclear missile attack by North Korea is accelerating. Mattis, who is on a week-long trip to Asia during a meeting with South Korean Defense Minister Song Yong-moo, accused the North of illegal and unnecessary missile and nuclear programs. Mattis said that the North engages in outlaw behavior and that the US will never accept a nuclear North. Well, let's shift focus now and bring you up to speed with some news from the world of sports and Sports Beat. Indian shuttlers Kidambi Shrikant, HS Pranoy and PV Sindhu entered the semi-finals of the French Open Super Series badminton tournament in Paris. In the men's singles, Pranoy beat Korea's Jeon Hyuk Jin 21-16, 21-16, while Shrikant defeated China's 4th-seeded Shi Yuki 8-21, 21-19, 21-9. In the women's singles, Olympic silver medalist PV Sindhu defeated China's world number 10 Chen Yufei 21-14, 21-14. Ace Indian shooters Sangram Dahiya and Amanpreet Singh won medals in the International Shooting Sport Federation World Cup final in New Delhi. Sangram clinched the silver medal while Amanpreet Singh bagged a bronze. Both shooters are taking part in the prestigious event for the first time. Spain will face England in the final of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup football in Kolkata today. In the semi-finals, Spain defeated Mali 3-1 at Navi Mumbai to enter the finals for the 4th time, while England defeated 3-time champions Brazil by the same margin at Kolkata to enter their maiden final. In tennis, Belgium's David Goffin beat American Jack Sock at the Swiss Indoors Tournament in Basel to book a semi-final clash with top-seeded Roger Federer. Goffin beat Sock 7-6, 6-3 in an hour and 18 minutes long match. In another match, top-seeded Roger Federer defeated Adrian Manarino for 6-6, 6-1, 6-3 in the quarterfinal clash. Japan marked 1,000 days to go until the 2020 Summer Olympics with a street event in Tokyo. Portable floats with the number 1,000 were carried down the street in central Tokyo, and athletes demonstrated 3-on-3 basketball, a game which is newly added. A countdown clock was also unveiled. Governor Yuriko Koike and several Olympic athletes, including Japanese weightlifter Hiromi Miyake, attended the ceremony. And finally, blooming season has come a little earlier in China, turning the Poyang Lake in China's Jingxi province into a picturesque, vibrant scene. Rows of purple-pink flowers, polygonum, are also in full blossom, making it a hot tourist spot. We leave you with these visuals.